Retention. In this movie, we're going to look at the retention option. If we want the quotation to have a retention built into it, then we do need to tell the programme. Let's see how it's done. We'll click the reports and click the retention button. Some clients that we quote for will require retentions to be built into the quote. This report is where we can do this and view how it will impact our payment schedule. OK, if we scroll down, we'll notice that the retention report is laid out in a very similar way to our payment schedule. As we haven't entered any retention percentages into it yet, it contains the same information. But it is a different colour, and it is important to remember that we cannot make adjustments to the actual payment schedule from here. We can only make changes to the payment schedule in the payment schedule report. Here at the top is where we can enter the percentage, if any, that is to be deducted and retained. We have two options for this. We can deduct a retention from each stage payment, or we can deduct it from the final one. Whilst it is more likely that we would be using one or the other, we can use both if that has been requested by the client. Let's take a look at how it works. If the client has requested that a percentage for the retention is deducted from each stage payment, then we enter that percentage in this yellow box. Let's put in 2.5%. See? We're provided with a snapshot of the amount that will be deducted from each stage payment. Just to show you, if we adjust the figure in this yellow box to 3%, instantly the amount listed for each stage payment changes to reflect this. Here, we can see the total amount that will be deducted across all the stage payments. Below this, we have a summary of the payments. So here is the name of the stage payment, here is the amount prior to any retention being taken, and here is the amount that the client will be paying at each stage with the retention having been deducted. If we scroll down, we can see more detailed information for each of the stage payments. Each stage payment is laid out in exactly the same way as they were in the payment schedule, but here in the totals, we can see what is being deducted for the retention. OK, let's go back and remove that 3%. The other way we can build a retention in is by deducting an amount from the final payment, if the client has requested this. We enter the percentage of the final payment that will be retained, and instantly the amount that will be deducted is worked out. We can see it here in the summary too. And if we scroll down to the final payment, we will notice that none of the other stage payments have any retention being deducted. But as we can see, the final payment here does. Let's go back to the top. OK, now it may be that the client wants a retention on each stage payment as well as a further retention on the final payment. If this is required, we just ensure the correct percentages are entered into these two boxes. We'll put 2.5 in here, so this will be taken off each stage payment, and we'll put another 2.5 in here. So this will be deducted from the final payment, along with the 2.5 that will be coming off each stage payment. Again, we can see how much is being deducted from each stage payment, and we have a handy summary here. This is really useful, as in 6 months or a year's time when the retention payment is due, we have a clear and concise record of the money that's owed. We'll just go to the written quotation. If we opt to have the payment schedule showing, the information regarding the retention will be shown here. By default, the text does state that this will be payable in 6 months' time, but we can change this if we want, if something different has been agreed with your client. Our job doesn't require a retention, so we'll go back and remove the percentages that we've put in.